Sit down, buckle up, and welcome fellow fans of Clash of Clans. It's your host, Galadon. Okay, so in today's video, which is a little bit different, obviously there's a lot going on, and I thought I wanted to cover several different subjects, and I think that's part of the problem of the whole controversy that started recently with Eric's reaction video, and that is there's more than one subject in his video. And to be fair, you have to break it down and take each individually, so let's do that. Number one, the copyright controversy, that whole Adam time to clash thing. Now, this is something that I will admit I don't have any information on, other than what I learned from watching Eric's videos and Itsu's video, which I highly recommend, by the way. And if you watch those videos alone and you have no other information, I think it becomes relatively clear that the Time to Clash channel was not deleted because it was critical of Supercell games, and I can pretty much tell you unequivocally that is not something that has ever happened. I mean, look at Brad in Clash Royale. No, hey, in fairness, he removed himself from the creator program. He still makes videos all the time, and they are probably the most critical videos I have ever seen. And while that might not align with the Supercell creator program, it certainly isn't going to get your channel deleted from the internet. So something else happened over there with the Time to Clash thing, and I don't know what it was. I can also say that I did know a little bit more about the Master of ban. If you guys remember this was a long time ago. Master of, and I will say, super intelligent, bright, successful guy, funny. I met him several times, but well, okay, he was known for over-aggressive search engine optimization, some would say clickbait, but more importantly, he unfortunately made a video explaining an exploit in Clash of Clans and how to execute it to gain an advantage, and that got him banned. And I'll be honest, I don't think that his intention back then when he made that video was to cheat. I think he thought it was an interesting feature, but it was a cheat, it was an exploit, and he moved on to other things. But the question remains, is it Supercell's responsibility to disclose why they removed a channel? And I don't necessarily think it is. It's up to them. They have the legal right to do it. And, you know, there's a bunch of rumor and innuendo out there. I'm sure that there is a true, straight story somewhere, but it maybe has not been unearthed yet and likely never will be. There was also the Lady B controversy a couple of years ago, and I also stayed away from that. And I'll be honest, I still have no idea about that one either. Okay, so let's move on to a subject that is sort of related, and that is the idea of content creators being sellouts. And I think this is actually really interesting because having been in this industry for about 12 years, I have seen things change dramatically. And speaking of drama, today's episode is sponsored by... Okay, fine. I'm just kidding. But that is actually what I'm speaking to. The evolution of sponsorships, and is the creator program a sponsorship? And I would say it's not, although obviously content creators that are in the Supercell creator program are meant to uphold a certain standard. If you look at an actual sponsorship where creators are being paid to play and speak positively about specific talking points about a game, it is totally different. And it's funny, in the early days, 10 years ago on YouTube, we were very careful about what sponsorships we took. Chief Pat, Godson, myself, many others. There were certain games that nobody would touch, like Game of War. And any content creators that had any sort of sponsored content in their early videos got absolutely destroyed in the comments and immediately called a sellout. Nowadays, things have changed. Pretty much anything goes. There's lots of games that are less than amazing that content creators make advertisements for, and you can see them in videos all the time. Sometimes right in front of a Clash of Clans video, you'll see some crazy game with somebody you recognize talking about how amazing it is and how fun it is to play. And I think the average viewer has come to understand this. It's a standard part of the industry, and, you know, creators are forgiven for making less than awesome content about sponsorship stuff sometimes. But it's totally different than a creator program where there are no talking points, and obviously, like Eric and everybody else has mentioned, All of us have been critical about pretty much every game we play because no game is perfect, but certainly there's a clear difference between outright trashing a game and talking about how bad it is, and adding your opinion with criticisms on what you think is wrong with the game, and most of the time providing your own feedback as to how you think things could be improved. And I think that is the key to a successful content creator. First and foremost, you need to love the game that you are playing, and I definitely think that is true for pretty much every content creator that I know and that I have met. Okay, not every single one, there's been a couple, but they're not Supercell content creators, and I'll talk about them some other time down the road because I'm not one to gossip. And speaking of gossip, let's get on to the next subject matter, and that is the whole esports controversy. And again, for this, I really think you need to go watch Itsu's explanation video because he does call out Eric. He is very thorough and clear and uses supporting factual information. Yeah, I mean, I really highly respect Itsu. He is one of my favorite content creators and people that I have met throughout my years working with Supercell and Clash of Clans. And after watching Itsu's explanation video, I don't think there's any need for me to go into any more detail or get involved in any way. So let's move on to the last subject I wanted to cover in today's episode related to what I said earlier, and that is the state of the game, Clash of Clans, right now. And not only the balance, but the monetization. From an average player's standpoint, I feel like the balance of the game is okay right now. I do understand why they've made the game considerably easier, and I don't think, unlike other games, it's really all that frustrating to lose battles, because overall, you're still gaining, moving ahead, getting loot, making progression. That is something that you don't see in other games where you're losing because offense is too strong. So I don't think it's a bad thing right now. Obviously, they did put in hard mode for a reason, and since I don't play competitively, I don't think I'll ever use hard mode. I'm just going to keep going out and getting as many triples as I can and still being frustrated when I can't. The monetization part, however, I agree with Itsu and his opinion that the Apprentice Builder is way too expensive. I was definitely disappointed in the price point for the Apprentice Builder, but I am at the same time happy that we're not seeing more epic hero equipment yet. Let's let players try to catch up a little bit before more comes to the game that we have to try to upgrade. So thank you, fellow fans, for listening to the end. Please do leave your thoughts, comments down below, and I will make a response video to your responses at some point. Have a fantastic best of the rest of your day, and I hope to see you all back here again tomorrow for more full attacks.
Galadon, is it true Game of War offered you $25,000 to make a video and you would said no?
Yep, that's true.
Fool.